twilight lies gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets trembling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the brave? Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. This land of the brave, the U.S. of A. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, in the home of the
Welcome, my name's Mike Ellis. Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing for Tuesday night's Open Truck Series. Every Tuesday night we're running a schedule, payouts at the end to the championship. Got Atlanta Motor Speedway on the docket tonight. Joining me in the booth, James Peterson. Are you out there, JP?
Hey, Mike. Always good to be with you. Been a couple weeks. Had a couple weeks of sleep after that Wreck Fest we had in Charlotte 2 weeks ago. It made me a little tired, so good to be back.
Absolutely. Mile and a half here. Big turnout, too. Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing. Tonight's event's brought to you by Skiers Marine, as well as Michelangelo's Painting. Lots of great sponsors supporting our trucks series. Practice wrapping up here in the final minutes. What are you seeing out there, Jim, for practice?
Well, I tell you, you've got some of your own all-pro guys. Damon Gilbert in that practice had the top lap at 29.722. Right behind him, Dustin Lee, Doug Lemons, Matt Clifton, Jeffrey Smith, and Mitchell Reese, all under 30s. This is going to be quick tonight here. Let me tell you, Mike, going to be quick.
Yeah, they must be in the draft getting numbers like that.
I know they had a pit party, but I know Damon put his up early before anybody got out there, so whether he was in race trim or qual trim, who knows, but there's some good racing right now. I'm just watching a little bit of practice here and some good drafting, and I tell you, we've got some excellent racers here tonight in hot Atlanta.
Yes, and I want to take a moment to thank our board of directors at All Pro Racing, including Michael D'Amico behind the cameras. My name's Mike Ellis. Also on the board, Dustin Lee, Jonas Hankins, Don King, Damon Gilbert, and Andrew Williams. Many thanks to all those team members for working as admins and such on the team. Qualifying in about 2 minutes here. Lots of going on in the racing world. Let's talk some quick NASCAR news. JP, basically Talladega, wow, man, let your breath out after holding it there. I think it lived up to all the hype.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm, as you know me, Mike, being a Midwest guy, I gotta say kudos to number 40, Landon Castle. Not even in the chase, and the guy almost had the chance to win it at the end, but Keselowski held off the whole field. What a fabulous finish that was.
And Keselowski finding that extra 5% when he needed it somehow, and yeah, kudos to Brian France too for this new chase. It certainly has lived up to its potential, I believe, so it's been a fun time to be a race car fan.
I'll copy that. And going to Martinsville, you know, those guys from Brad K to Joey Logano, Carl Edwards, Harvick, Gordon, Ryan Newman, Denny Hamlin, and Kenseth. I'm telling you, there's going to be 30 other cars, 35 other cars, but those 8 guys, here we go again. 3 more races. It's going to get hot.
Absolutely. So some of the news that coming out this week, NASCAR announced no penalty for Ryan Newman and his team from Richard Childress as the car was too low post-race inspection from Talladega. Turns out he was in a wreck at lap 102 of that race, and it caused the back end to sag down a little bit. No points are being deducted, so Ryan is through to the next round.
Yeah, what a tragedy that would have been, huh? Yank those points for what, splits of inches or less?
That's what I wanted to know, is how much did he miss it by? Was it a millimeter or was it an inch, you know?
You think we'll ever know the true story on that, Mike?
No, I think the thing is actually green or red. It doesn't matter how much it is.
Copy that. Looks like they're getting ready to qualify here.
So 2-lap qualifier, no open qualifying tonight here at All Pro Racing. So we'll have to watch the times roll in here. We got some new changes in iRacing. Let's talk about that. We got a new build released literally hours ago. We've all downloaded it and have seen some of the nice changes. Certainly some cosmetic changes too.
Yeah, copy that. They did a little bit of work on a few of the tracks, a couple minor updates here, but I think the big thing that the racers are going to need to pay attention to tonight, Mike, and you and I talked a little bit about it before the race, pace speed's gone up 5 miles an hour, and pit road speed has gone up 5 miles an hour. And if guys are still thinking 45 coming down pit road is the speed, they're going to have to readjust, because coming into pit lane now they've moved it up to 50 miles an hour. So that's a good thing, I think, actually.
Well, it certainly will be at Pocono and Indianapolis and some of those long tracks.
Yeah, copy that when you come out of turn 3 on some of those short tracks here. It's a quick turn into the pits. Iowa's a quick turn into the pits. Indy's a quick turn into the pits, obviously, if you're not using the slow down lane. And I think that extra 5 miles an hour is gonna actually help on tracks like this. So, but hopefully all the guys in the race tonight took aware of that and read all the updates. But really excited. Again, iRacing, their commitment to continuous improvement.
Absolutely, and the introduction of team driving, we might even explore that tonight after this race, so stick around. We might do a pop-up race just to play around with it. We did try it a little bit before the race, and it works, so we're going to have some fun with it, doing some oval stuff. Provisional pole sitter Doug Lemons backs up his practice time, 29.638. As times roll in here in the middle of qualifying, let's take a look back at our championship points for this particular series here. We call it All Pro Trucks, and we're at Atlanta. Currently, Doug Lemons, 127 points over Mitchell Reeves, 127 back. Dustin Lee in third, 5 back from Mitchell. Sitting fourth, Jonas Hankins. Fifth, Scott Bailey. I'm not sure you can be farther back than that, James, to really get in this thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at the point differential from 127, and Scott Bailey sitting up there at 106, and he's probably is that right about the cutoff, 106, 107. So Jonas and Scott are probably going to have an awful good finish tonight to try and get up in there to finish the season up top.
And we got 3 consecutive short tracks coming up next: South Boston, Thompson, and Bristol, as well as Phoenix and Martinsville, then Dover.
I'm looking at some more at the queue times. Looks like 22. Mike Kalini. Hey, there is our pad founder himself, Mike Kalini, in the 22 car with the 29.799 right now. It looks like he's taken up about the 8th or 9th spot.
Yeah, People Against Distracted Driving, pad.org is the website. And lots of supporters of PAD in this race, actually. I bet we'll see some paint jobs that actually have that on the side of the truck. There is going to be a special event, not currently scheduled yet, for All Pro Racing in conjunction with PAD. Trying to get an actual NASCAR driver to join us on track. That will be coming up. We've had some contact. We're waiting for his schedule. Obviously, he's a busy guy.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and it sounds like All Pro Racing is one step closer to putting that together. And I'm still, honestly, I'm trying to find out through the grapevine who this guy is, you guys, and it's just very tight-lipped, so appreciate that. But I'm looking forward to it. I definitely won't be racing. I'm going to be watching that one.
There's a lot of NASCAR drivers that are on the iRacing service. I've raced with them. I actually know some of them and talked with them. So it'll be interesting. We'll stay tuned and see as we get ready for our starting grid. Doug Lemons is on the pole in the 70 with a 29.638. David Lowe is going to start on the outside of the front row in the Lowe's 55 Chevy Silverado. Dustin Lee starting in the third spot in the 51 Olive Hills Welding. Damon Gilbert from All Pro Racing starting in the Kart City 68 Chevy Silverado in the fourth spot. Matt Clifton starting in the fifth spot in the 29 All Pro Racing MCR Motorsports Chevy Silverado. Joseph Galata starting in the sixth spot in the 86 Bojangles Smoky Chicken and Biscuits. Oh, now I'm hungry. Chevy Silverado. William Toney in the 87 Ruger Pistols Glove Box Racing. That's a nice looking truck there. I love guns. Mike Kalini, pounder of pad.org, and he's running the pad colors. Check it out, and it's purple and yellow. Nice looking truck. Glad Mike's out here. He's actually one of the guys I call a ringer here at Atlanta. I've chased him around here a few times, and he's always in the front. Scott Bailey starting in the 08 is next. Then Jeffrey Smith in the Exalta Fast Lane Motorsports Chevy Silverado. 11th, Everett D. Lane in matching paint scheme. Got some teammates out here. Jeremy Crandall in the 73 BART competition. Starting in the 12th spot there. James Torrey in the 13th spot in the Cooper Standard. Do a couple more. Nick Reynolds from All Pro Racing running the Bass Pro Shops colors, as well as Mitchell Reeves also running the Bass Pro Shops colors. Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing. We're getting ready to go green here. What do you expect here, Peterson, on the start?
Well, I'm seeing those first couple laps with our top 5-6 guys. This is going to be exciting, very exciting. I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to calling it again. Thanks for having us, Mike.
Race car's off. Green, green, green. They go green real quick here after the pace car's off, and Lemons brings them down. Dustin Lee is able to get to the bottom there, but David Lowe doesn't. Oh, Lowe is into the wall hard. They're all going to scatter around him. Yeah, and he sticks it into the wall. He stays up. No caution.
Well, it looks like he did a great job. Now we got him back in, though, coming out of 4. I think this is going to bring the caution out, Mike. Sure did.
Boy, way back in the pack here. Let's see if we can figure out who got involved. The 20 of Thomas Schroeder is involved. Let's take his replay. He gets up out of the groove there, and he goes to dodge that other car, and they wreck in front of him.
Yeah, it looks like exactly what happened. They kind of slowed up just a little bit.
It actually looks like Andrew Williams initiated the early contact there with the 54 getting into his quarter panel, and that's what actually started it. So Nick Reynolds heavily wrecked with Andrew Williams.
Boy, that's just a tough break there to look like everybody got through that. He held the wall good, and then trying to slow down and just, like you said, just got a little bit collected and probably could have been avoided. But, boy, that's a tough one.
Absolutely. Back to live action here as leaders pick up the pace car in 4. who will pit. We've only gone here 3 laps. And I believe there's 1 reset tonight, and some of these guys are going to use it. Andrew Williams pulls it in. Mark Robertson's, no, he stayed out.
You know, Mike, this Atlanta track, it always seems 1 and 2 everybody can get through 1 and 2, and then there it is again, similar to what we had at Charlotte a couple weeks ago. That 3 and 4 can just be dicey.
It isn't.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it either.
So David Lowe brings out the caution there. It's like he went down to that first turn, Jim, and he just didn't turn.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's exactly what happened.
Well, let's see if we can get an interview here. I'm going to drag somebody in here to talk to.
You got it, George?
Mike Ellis in the booth for Matt Clifton. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Mike. Go ahead.
Well, early caution, but I wanted to ask you, who do you think the ringers are out here? Who should we be watching?
I think everybody's going to be chasing Doug. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to touch him or not. We'll have to see when we get a few green flag laps in.
Well, he certainly backed up his practice time with the pole position, but we'll have to see. Lots of fast trucks up there under the 30-second mark.
Yeah, there's a lot of fast ones. I don't know if I think I'm a little closer to the front than I need to be. I'm struggling.
Well, hopefully we get some green flag running here. Just wanted to check in. Have a great race.
Thanks, Mike.
So there you have it. Matt Clifton, we're currently running P3, sporting the All-Pro Racing right across the hood. Nice looking paint there, Matt. Many thanks to our sponsors. Lots of sponsors involved in this series, including JJN Productions, Fast Lane Racing, Skiers Marine, Michael Angelo's Painting, and Hankins Freshwater Fish and Snails. And I understand he's got a bunch of new ones in with all the different colors. You can get pink or blue or black. So, yeah.
You know, and you spin in on that car number 40, truck number 44, Jonas, and he's sporting it again. I just love the pink and the fish tank. He's got it going on. I love his paint job there.
Hey, somebody's got to sell snails, right? So Jonas takes care of business. As we're about to go back to green flag action here at All Pro Racing. Thanks for joining us. Pace car's about to pull off. We'll go to green. Now. Great start for Lemons. So Lemons gets a nice start. They're fighting for second. It's Matt Clifton on the inside of Dustin Lee. Damon Gilbert running there in fourth. And boy, leader has got a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah, looks like, Mike, even from the back of the pack, things are starting to just spin out a little bit. Ooh, a little bit of action there, but everything seems to be going good through the back of the field. They're kind of stringing it out.
Yeah, this is a long race, 100 laps tonight. We need to burn some off here, and what's critical, Jim, is not running off the tires early. It'll be interesting to see who's faster here, after 10 laps, 20 laps. Is Doug Lemons running his tires off right now or not? It kind of appears to be, at least compared to some of these other front runners. Yes. Caution.
Oh, we got one in turn 3. Turn 3 looks like the 29 car.
Clifton involved, right? Running top 5 there. Let's take a replay on him. He's following Damon Gilbert here and just pushes up into the wall. And then Gilbert pulls it off the wall and turns Clifton. And he spins him like a top.
James Torrey got collected in that, number 11.
Judson Hankins gets a piece. Oh.
Yeah, he just got up into the wall a little bit, got a little bit loose.
It actually all started with Damon Gilbert, who's behind Dustin Lee, and he actually hits the wall, and Matt Clifton followed him into the wall, but then Matt Clifton couldn't get around Damon, and it was on. The 11 heavily damaged there. Looks like he drove right through him. Leaders are on pit road right now. Doug Lemons pits. Looks like most of our leaders are down here. Everyone looking at 4 tires and fuel.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to have about 3 or 4 cars taking their one reset there, Mike. Obviously, the number 11, James Torrey. Probably Damon's going to be taking his reset, and obviously 4 tires and 4 fuel.
Looks like Everett Lane might have took 2. He beats him off pit road there. Dustin Lee second off pit road. Doug Lemons comes off third, losing 2 spots.
Yeah, it does look like a few of them have stayed out. I see Donald King, 23. He decided to stay out. Maybe he'll come around this time. Maybe not. We'll see.
I think Dustin pitted, actually. So I think the 26 is the one. Yeah, Sanjin Delalek, shown as 7 laps down, is staying out to get a wave around, as well as the 004 of Michael Johnson. But actually behind the pace car also is Jonas Hankins. So yes, we did have some people stay out here. That looks like the first person who pitted is Dustin Lee.
Let me see if I can drag Jonas down here and get an interview about this strategy here, Mike.
All right.
Hey, Jonas, JP3 up in the box. How are you?
All right, how you?
Well, I'm seeing you stayed out there. What's your thinking here? Just about everybody else except the guys who are looking for that wave by have stayed out, but you're out there in P1. What are you thinking?
I'm just out here gambling right now. I'd like to thank sponsors, All Pro, and thanks for Mike Clooney coming in tonight. but I'm just gambling right now.
Copy that. Well, we appreciate your sponsorship as well. We love the paint job again tonight, as always, and a free male for every 4 females. That sounds like a very good ratio. All right, good luck to you, Jonas. Thanks for the interview.
All Pro Racing's very own Jonas Hankins leading this race. He's got his teammate on the outside. That's part-timer Don King, sporting the Team All Pro colors. Right behind him, Judson Hankins.
That looks like Donald King, Bobby Stewart. They all stayed out as well. Michael Johnson, as you suggested. So a few of these guys staying out.
Yeah, they certainly have changed up how I view the grid of people, and it's not
right,
refreshing right.
Getting ready to go green here.
Pace car lights are off. How will these guys do with no tires? Find out. Green, green, green. Lots of checkup on the inside there.
Well,
Jonas Hankins gets the lead there.
We've got some 3 wide racing going on, Mike. This is getting exciting already.
Back here for about 15th, they're 3 wide. That's the 20, and he turns Jeremy Crandall. I kind of saw that coming. That was Thomas Schroeder in the 20. No paint job on that truck.
Yeah, and he turned Jeremy right there at the stripe, and they were almost 4 wide there right at the tri-oval.
Well, it looked like he gives plenty of room, but Crandall just was too much, 3 wide. Not sure who's to blame. That's more of a racing incident that kind of funneled up together, and boy, Crandall hard up into the fence.
Yeah, it looked like 22 Mike Kalini was holding his line there, and the 20 just turned Jeremy right into the wall.
So some tough racing here. We're on lap 16 of 100. And boy, you know what? Good strategy move for these guys who stayed out, I bet. Quick caution, cool those tires back down. Are they going to pit this time by? Let's see.
We know Jeremy's going to probably want to come in.
And Hankins keeps the dice out on the table. He stays out, as well as all our leaders. A few takers in the back. And that's Mitchell Reeves from All Pro Racing. Let's talk with Mitchell here as he comes down on pit road. Mike Ellis in the booth for Mitchell Reeves. You got me.
Got you, Mike.
Well, we see you pitting here. Most people are staying out. How's your race going?
Well, it's been a rough start. Really bad qualifying session has really put me back, and I'm trying to figure out some strategy here. Really trying to get halfway to the race and go from there.
Well, absolutely, and we want to thank Skiers Marine and your involvement as a sponsor as well as a driver here for the Truck Series on Tuesday night. Tell us a little more about Skiers Marine.
Well, Mike, we're based out of Alabama. We have 2 locations in Central Alabama and North. Even though we are from Alabama and we only have 2 stores, we have shipped boats all around the world, including Australia and Alaska. So go check us out at skiersmarine.com, and if you would like to call one of our salesmen and talk to us about maybe getting in a boat and getting one your way, the number is 205-678-7870. Thank you.
It's always nice to buy the big ticket items from somebody you know, a friend. So, yeah, hook up with Skiers Marine. Thanks, Mitchell. Good luck out there. You're going to be at the back. How long do you think it'll take you to get up there, or are you going to stay back there?
Mike, I don't know. There's a lot of good drivers in here, a lot of strategies being played out here, and I really have no idea. It's been a 19th place. Truck's really not working for me, so kind of hoping luck's on my side tonight, and we'll get up there and try to get in the top 5 at least tonight.
All right, well, good luck.
Thanks, Mike.
There you have it, Mitchell Reeves in the Bass Pro Shops Chevy. I think we have time for another one. You want to pick someone else to talk to there, JP?
Yeah, let me see if I can't grab up Mike Kaleni here in race control.
JP3 up in the box. How are you?
Hey, Jim, good to hear you. Doing okay. Staying up front.
Gotta go by. Hey, Mike, I am not picking him up for some reason. You want to do that interview?
Hey, Mike Kaleni, sorry about that. We're having technical difficulties, but wanted to get a quick interview with you. How's your truck out there? You're sporting the pad.org colors. We talked a little bit about that. How's your race doing?
Hey, Mike, so far she's doing pretty good. I loosened it up a little bit there first stop, and so far I've been able to scrape by all these little minor accidents, and she's good. She's fast. I think I got a good one to go. Just a little bit of luck, and we'll get there.
Well, I'm hoping everyone will hold it together and give some give and take here. Let's get a long green flag, guys. Nice talking to you, Mike, and thanks for your help with pad.org, People Against Distracted Driving.
Thank you, Mike. Good luck.
There you have it, founder of pad.org. Make sure to check out that website. Lots of helping going on there with education. Pace car's about to go off. Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing. Green, green, green. The snail truck brings them down. Don King fights hard on the outside. First, second, third sort out. They're double wide behind that as we get another one up into the wall there. Not sure who that was.
Looks like that was Michael Johnson. He went ahead and he held it on, though.
Michael Johnson also running the pad colors tonight.
Sorry, man, if I blocked you there.
Everyone's going by. Oh, Jeremy Crandall down on the apron. Let's reset up front. Jonas Hankins followed very closely by Donald King. A couple car lengths back from them. Dustin Lee in third. As they're wrecking behind him, if the 8 is involved. Martin Porter. Whoa, we got a big pile up. They're still wrecking. The 25 and the 8 involved here. Looks like the 25, Jeffrey Smith, pushes up hard into the wall, collects the 22 and the 8. Comes back across the track to collect the 02. The 86 is involved, the 55. Verlis Falcons is involved. And
Yeah,
there's
looks
some
like-
ARCA braking going on here, JP, big time.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's a tough one there with the 25 car getting up into the wall and then came down and collected, like I said, collected the 22, the 24, the 55. It's that's too bad. And then you've got the 06 coming in at the end and touching a little bit too.
Yeah, so you know, they come off too. You can see smoke, but they're still rolling instead of on the brakes. And boy, you hate to see that kind of wreck. Well,
Yeah,
back
all
up
pro.
front.
Really a positive exchange there between Jeffrey Smith and Mike Kalini. You know, just say, hey, no harm, no foul, and just some educational opportunity there too. So
Some of our leaders pit there. Hankins, Lemons, King, all come down for tires. Now we do have some people that stayed out though. Looks like Jacob Nye got up in the mix there. Maybe he took two. But currently our leader is Bobby Stewart in the 16, also sporting pad colors.
yeah, Bobby Stewart. I'm not sure. I didn't see if he pitted there or not, Mike. But
I don't think
team
he
owner
did.
SBR. Let's see if I can't grab an interview with Bobby. See what his strategy is here.
All right.
JP3 up in the box. How you doing tonight?
Everybody go high. Don't stay in apron. Everybody go high.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bobby Stewart.
Hey, Bobby, I see you stayed out there. First of all, good lead race up there. You've avoided a couple of wrecks. You're P1. What's your strategy here?
Well, I'm just kind of using some fuel strategy. I know I'm not as fast as some of the guys in here, so I figured I would stay out and the way we're having the yellows, just see how it holds out and go in and get fuel when I have to, whether it's yellow or green.
Copy that. Well, you've moved from 19th up to P1, so good going there. And like I said, a lot of good racing going on here tonight. We have a long way to go, so let's see if we can keep it green. But thanks for the interview. Good luck to you tonight, Bobby.
Thank you.
So strategy playing out here at All Pro Racing as Bobby Stewart stays out. Followed by Jonas Hankins, who took 4, and Doug Lemons took 4. I believe the 31, Jacob Nye, might have done 2 or no tires. And then Don King lost a few spots. He's rolling off right behind Jacob.
You know, Mike, when you have this many cautions and that strategy, when you take tires, when you take fuel, you know, all these guys have got to be thinking, boy, if I can get to that lap about 74, 75, somewhere in there, and we can go green from there on. But it's just so hard to predict this so early in the race.
Yeah, several cars have taken it behind the wall here, including Andrew Williams, Joseph Galata, Thomas Schroeder, Mark Robertson. We're currently showing 19 cars on the lead lap. So several cars 1 lap down and several cars 2 laps down. I was just looking through the field quickly at damage. Looks like most everyone is in good shape except for Verlis Falcons. He's got some heavy right in front. But everyone else seems to have used their reset, or they still have it. Pace car's off. Green, green, green. Let's see what Stewart can do here. Hankins gets in there awfully high and immediately goes backwards and takes Nye with him. Top 3 sort out, double wide behind him. This track is bumpy. You can certainly see these trucks moving around, JP.
Yeah, they certainly are. You know, Michael Johnson right there in the trial will take it down onto the grass. I see Mitchell Reeves is sitting in the pits right now, so I'm not sure what's happened to his car. And hopefully he's not going to be taking it over the wall, Mike.
Oh, Bill Nye up into the fence. Excuse me, Jacob Nye. And he's still in the fence. He finally gets off. And he's all tore up. And he's gone straight to the back. We stay green. Meanwhile, it looks like Doug Lemons has gotten around Stewart, as well as Hankins is right there for second. And Hankins almost door slams him.
Yeah, I think that's those fresh tires that those guys took. They're going to have a lot more grip, being able to just run right around Bobby Stewart there.
And Lemons continues to pull away here from Bobby Stewart in second. Now Don King shown in third. But Don kind of running a higher line than some of these others. All Pro Racing's Nick Reynolds running there right behind Don King. Fourth spot.
Well, Mike, I've been watching a few of these cars kind of coming from the back. Actually, Mike Kaleni, car 22, even though he's 2 laps down, he's running around guys here. I think he's trying to get himself at least only 1 lap down, so then he can fight for the lucky dog.
Yeah, lots of racing back here around Judson Hankins running in the 8th spot. There's Everett Lane running there. Mike Kaleni. Scott Bailey as well. Glad to see Scott in here. James Torrey right behind him. We saw James involved in that first accident. Obviously got his reset. He's still in it, folks. And I think the question playing out right now, JP, is who's got anything for Doug Lemons? Currently a 1.2 second gap he's built up here in the last 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, he's definitely got a fast car. You know, I think if we even go into Doug's cockpit, I'd be real curious. He's probably hardly even lifting there, Mike.
All about line and throttle control, and some guys have it, some don't. Hey, that's what separates the winners and the losers here at All Pro Racing. Heavy racing here for third. We finally see the 16th tires giving up a little bit more than the others. Oh, as Nick Reynolds pushes hard up into the wall. Dustin Lee got into a part of that. We stay green. I'm sure Dustin Lee is... Oh, there's a caution. And they're wrecking hard out of 4. Jason Sizlove is all tore up in the 21. Looks like Martin Porter might have caused that. Yeah, Martin Porter decides to go 3 wide here and gets into the 87. There's just not enough room. He comes up into the 11 and the 21 into the 14 hard. Chris Pence getting tore up.
Oh, certainly.
So we're under caution here at All Pro Racing.
largest house painting companies in the state. We do interior painting, exterior painting, epoxy flooring, and faux finishing.
We take care of your house from start to finish. Power washing, fixing cracks, caulking around all windows and doors, re-nailing all the loose wood around the house. Foundation gets waterproofed and scraped. We mask everything completely off, and then we do the painting. For the interior of the house, we help you move the large furniture. We completely cover everything in plastic. We fix all the cracks in your walls. We texture any areas that need it. We caulk around all the windows, the trim, the doors, and then we brush and roll everything with 2 coats. I truly believe that Arizona Painting Company has some of the best painters in Phoenix. Most of our painters have been with us for over 10 years.
My vision with the company is to do quality craftsmanship, use the best materials available, and make the customer extremely happy and have that customer relationship.
The thing that separates Arizona Painting Company from other companies is our customer service. From the office answering your calls 7 days a week to the painters and the professional crew that's here with the foreman on site the whole time, we are dedicated to the customer from the start to the finish of the job.
Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing. Make sure to go over to Facebook and like us over there. Don't forget, we also run the official series in NASCAR iRacing Series Road to Pro. Make sure to join us every Thursday night, Saturday morning, and Sunday night if you want to run with the team All Pro. A really good week, JP, for the Team All-Pro at Talladega this last week, including a win for myself in the Premier Series, as well as a few other wins to back it up. So, great week.
Yeah, kudos and congratulations on that. And I saw the results on that. A heck of a lot of good racers again in that. But to you, Mike, fantastic job on the P1 finish.
I'm not the only one. Don King, Jonas Hankins, even Michael D'Amico got a podium result. So the Team All-Pro showing their strengths on the super speedway.
And for your prize, they put you right back in the booth now, huh?
Yeah, how about that? So new season starts in February, so we're getting really geared up for a big role of a bunch of people getting involved in that official racing.
You know, while we got a quick minute here in the real world this weekend coming up right here at Atlanta Speedway, the Rusty Wallace Race Experience. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing, and you can actually get in a real NASCAR for 3 laps for as little as like $250. If you want to upgrade it, you can go 6 to 10 laps or 20 to some odd laps and actually get a chance to race some actual laps in a real NASCAR on this track. That's the Rusty Wallace Race Experience this weekend here in Atlanta.
And folks, that's one of the fastest tracks on the circuit at Atlanta. I strongly recommend that. I did 3 laps at Daytona as a passenger in a race car and about crap my pants. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that would be like to actually be in the left seat of one of these things and getting a chance to actually run around the track. And the more you pay, of course, the more you get to run laps. And I think for about $1,500 you can actually run 25 laps and be in a simulated race.
And here's this simulated race is going green. Damon Gilbert brings them down. Glad to see Jeffrey Smith up to 3rd. His first appearance in the top 5 tonight. As well as Judson Hankins running 4th.
Well, let's see if we can put some green laps here, Mike, would be good. About 10, 15 green laps would be really nice.
And Hankins takes a look for the lead. As Gilbert goes high. Side by side as they cross the line there. Oh, and Hankins has to get out of it there to keep from pushing up. Going to lose the advantage to Damon Gilbert. And mover right now, I think, is Doug Lemons marching his way back up there. I saw him struggling a little bit getting off pit road, but he did get 4 tires and fuel. Some other notes on this last caution. A couple stayed out, including Jeffrey Smith and Damon Gilbert. But Gilbert's certainly not showing it, as he has a nice little gap here, as everyone else is fighting for second. Scott Bailey just horned his way up through there. Now P2. Impressive run for Scott.
You know, I'm kind of looking back here at Jeremy Crandall, 73. He is the only car actually in the lucky dog position right now, and he's just being super safe. Looks like we got another caution here.
Yeah, it looks like Don King involved. Currently, he was running third. Yeah, following Scott Bailey, looks like Don King just pushes up into the wall, and Lemons has nowhere to go, and he collects Lemons.
And just speaking of Jeremy Crandall, and he gets picked up in it.
That's the second heavy wreck Crandall's been in. I'm sure he's out of resets now. And he just caught a clip of it there at the end.
Boy, did he ever, just off the side there.
And I tell you what, the air here can do weird things to you, and you can end up pushing into the wall just like Don King there did. And I tell you, JP, it's the worst feeling in the world. You're like off the gas, but it still won't turn.
Yeah, and I noticed Mitchell in his interview was saying something about that too. Just a little squirrely, and I don't know if that's part of the new build. I don't think they did a whole lot to the tires at all, but you just never know. There could be just some different lifting points than in the past on this track with the new build that came out today.
And most of our leaders pit, at least the guys who stayed out last time, come down for 4 tires and fuel. Crandall's already on pit road working on repair. He is in the points. He's going to want to try to get that truck repaired and get out as soon as he can. But Damon Gilbert pits from the lead, Dustin Lee with him. The odd man out here, Scott Bailey, stays out and takes the lead. Let's see if we can get an interview with our leader. Mike Ellis in the booth for Scott Bailey. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Mike.
Well, boy, lots of cautions tonight. They're kind of spread out here and there. You decide to stay out that time. What's your strategy?
Well, I took 2 on the last stop with the leaders to maybe see if I can get some track position because all the wrecks have been happening in the back, and I thought I had a better chance to not get in a wreck if I'm at the front. So that's what I did, and I just barely missed that one.
Well, good job. There's probably no safer spot to be than out front. Let's see if you can hold it.
Yeah, thanks. I hope I can.
All right, well, good luck. We'll be watching.
All right, thanks.
So Scott Bailey in the 08, showing the way around.
You know, Mike, seen a few more guys that have just recently taken it over the wall. Chris Pence, Michael Johnson, 15, Andrew Williams, Furless Falcons. There's 4 more guys gone, and the field's starting to narrow, actually.
Well, that's what it takes, is to get a green flag run. You got to thin the herd a little bit. 6 cautions with 5 lead changes, 15 cars on the lead lap. We're on lap 47 of 100. Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing.
You know, and I was looking at that. I was talking about Jeremy Crandall before that accident got to him, that he was in the lucky dog, and lo and behold, The accident comes out, and now number 22, Mike Kaleni, has put himself in the lucky dog position. So,
yeah, we saw him mixing it up there with the lead pack, so we know he's got the speed. Now that he can get back on the lead lap, we'll see how that helps. So make sure to join us on Monday nights for our super late model series. And what's become famous for its incident cap, because a lot of people can't seem to get through the race without getting disqualified from having too many wrecks. So we did put a limit on it to try to promote clean racing. And that's it for Crandall. He takes it behind the wall. Mitchell Reeves took it behind the wall. Let's see if we can get him up here to join us. Hey, Mitchell Reeves, Mike Ellis in the booth. Hey, thanks for joining us up here with JP. What happened to you out there to bring you out of the race?
Well, there was just a lot of wrecks, a lot of hard racing there from about, looked like 12th back, just some good racing. Coming to the green here.
Yeah, 08, Scott Bailey bringing them down. There they go. At the 16th, blinking a little bit. Bobby Stewart on the outside. But Matt Clifton is about ready to pounce. He's running in second on the bottom. 2 by 2 by 2 for second on back. Dustin Lee takes it 3 wide. Nick Reynolds holds his line and powers on through.
Yeah, Mike, a lot of guys in the front here got a lot of old tires. Going to see what the guys from about 7th on back took some tires, see if they can get through this and get back to the front here.
Yeah, looks like Dustin Lee is digging. Boy, if we ever get this longer run, I think it'll be about who used their tires here in these couple laps after the green.
Well, Mike, we're coming to halfway just now. I really think that Dustin Lee probably has the truck to beat right now. He's already back up to, I believe, 5th place after the restart there, making up a lot of positions early.
Let's check in with our pole sitter, Doug Lemons, in the 70 Interstate Batteries. Checking him for damage. He looks like he's got a clean truck, so he's obviously used his reset. But Doug Lemons, fastest earlier, especially when he's out in front, JP and Clean Air.
yeah, copy that. And, you know, they're now starting to just thin out, going a lot of just one-by-one racing. Oop, we got somebody up in the wall on 3.
Stay green.
Good though. Stayed green.
But it's interesting. He doesn't seem to have that same speed when he's back in traffic as he did out front. And you know what? Scott Bailey's also showing out front's the place to be as he pulls a gap now over Nick Reynolds.
Yeah, Mike, it seems like the Clean Air has really started to really help the leader. Oh, we got Crash in the backstretch. Young Hankins.
Hankins
Doug
really
Lemons.
hard. That Doug Lemons is around hard. The snail truck takes a ride. Hankins, freshwater fish and snail. Just riding along there behind Nye. Looks like Nye gets up into the wall, comes out of the wall and collects Jonas, bringing Jonas around.
Yeah, and then countered, and Doug Lemons caught him, and that's a tough one there. You just overcorrected there.
Tough break for Lemons, a previous winner in this series, running right there in the points. Tough to see those guys in the points getting hurt like that.
Well,
but I tell you what, that 70 truck is tore up.
Yeah, he got both front side, but he really got banged up in the back side there if you're looking at it.
Yeah, Jeffrey Smith tried to miss him, and he kind of went the wrong way, and as Doug came back up across the track, he just nailed it.
Yeah, I think Doug has taken it over the wall too there, Mike and Mitchell. That's a tough one right there. It probably was his second reset maybe.
Yeah, that seemed like that was the early problem in the race. A lot of early incidents, got some good drivers in there. Doug Lemons was first in points, and I was in second. So Dustin Lee has the biggest chance here to really jump up on us here.
Yeah, and some of our leaders pit. Everett Lane beats them off pit road. Followed by the 07 Ruger truck.
You know, Mike, kind of talking about what we had here 2 weeks ago when we were down at Charlotte. It might be the survival of the fittest coming down to the last 4 or 5 laps. Who's got the fewest damages? Who's not used any of their resets? And where we're going to be at on pit strategy. But field is really thinning out right now. I'm seeing 14 cars on the lead lap, and I believe Doug Lemons just took it over the wall. So we've only got 14 cars on the lead lap now.
Yeah, that puts Don King in the lucky dog spot, even though he's 2 laps down. But quite a mixture going on, Mitchell, with the tire situation. Practically every truck out here is on a different strategy tire-wise.
Yeah, Mike, and I think that's where the strategy is really starting to play. Scott Bailey, he didn't really have the greatest qualifying effort, and the guys that were the early front runners are being really shown in out of the top 5. That's just how the strategy is starting to play out. Coming to the the later laps in this race, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be the front runner at this, because it seems like the clean air is key when it comes to leading this race.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Hey,
Damon
Mitchell,
Gilbert up there in the top 5, as well as Everett Lane.
Mitchell, you had a chance to run a number of laps out there and probably some laps in clean air and in qualifying. What were you seeing with the new build? Are you feeling anything different, anything new?
Well, JP, on the setup, this is the Charlotte setup I'm running here, but the exit with the new tire build they made, you have a lot more feel for especially the entry. That's where in my setup I lacked, and that really started to help, and I was really excited to see what the race brought with the new tire build. And there's a lot of fast trucks out there that and I think that's what's causing all the competitive racing and unfortunately wrecking, is just the trucks are so good to drive now.
Guys feeling maybe just a little bit tighter, like they can probably get away with driving a little bit closer side by side, maybe.
Yeah, it seemed like really when you were battling air, just the disturbance in air between a truck. If someone got behind you, it could really loosen up the truck, and I think that's what we've been seeing a lot coming out, especially turn 2 today. Is a lot of trucks have been just losing all the air off the back end when someone's right up behind them, and there's just nothing you can do with that.
Yep, copy that. That's a great perspective. Certainly appreciate that. You know, a guy who gets taken over the wall comes up here and starts to give us some direct input on what was going down there on the track.
Regular Darrell Waltrip there. Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing. My name's Mike Ellis. Michael D'Amico behind the cameras doing the magic. Race car's off. There it goes, and Gilbert gets quite a jump. He's going to beat him to the line, which will be legal, but the green was out, and he brings it down. Looks like Gilbert is going to keep the lead. William Toney in that Ruger truck making an appearance in the top 5. Great job for William there in the 3rd spot.
Keep your eye out on Dustin and Everett coming out of 4, battling for 5th there. Dustin clears him coming out, going through the tri-oval, going to 3rd place on William Toney.
He has it clear. Boy, what a run.
Dustin's truck looks really strong coming out of this restart. The question is, can he do anything on Scott Bailey and teammate Damon Gilbert?
And the top 5 are now spread out single file, side by side for 6th.
Justin Hakins coming up on William Toney. Will he clear him coming out of 4, though?
And Judson's fairly new to iRacing and doing a great job out there for the little experience he has. He is a sim racer with a background in R-Factor. Welcome Judson to All Pro Racing.
Getting really racy, about 9th place. A lot of shakeups. Bobby Stewart looks like he's going to come out of the leader of that pack. Made a lot of good moves getting to the 9th position there with Jonas right on his tail.
Oh, we got one in the wall there. Stay green.
William Toney.
So Tony was just running 3rd. I was just bragging on him. I guess that's a jinx.
I think the question to ask, Mike, is was he on old tires?
We got Judson and Jonas tying it up again. 44 and number 7.
Brothers duking it out here. Like Jonas is on the better end of that.
Yeah, they were going side by side for about a lap, and then they just doored each other, and looks like Judson got a little of the bad deal there.
Well, 8 tires are better than none, huh? And we're getting that green flag run we've been begging for. But like you called, look up front. Who's here in 2nd spot, knocking on the door?
And Mike, if the calculations are correct, Dustin Lee will probably come away with the points lead coming out of this race.
Yeah, with Doug Lemons taking it behind the wall, that's going to be a bad finish for him. It's going to open it wide open to these other guys. Does that change how they race, knowing that Doug Lemons is out of the points?
Oh, it most definitely does. Me and Dustin were talking earlier before the race and just talking about, what we're going to do for points. And I think our main focus, both of us being in 2nd and 3rd, was how's Doug race was going to be. And unfortunately, I didn't have the best race, but Dustin has a great chance to capitalize on this.
Yeah, with you out and Lemons out, he's certainly going to take the lead if he can finish tonight. Looks like he's content with riding there in 2nd behind his teammate, Mr. Damon Gilbert.
Yeah, Mike, the teammates are always dominant every race you see them. You just never know which one's going to actually have it, but Damon's really been wanting to get one on Dustin here. We're going to see if he can get him here in the last couple laps.
And just to clarify, JB, these guys are part of All Pro Racing, but almost teammates on a sub-level. You always see these 2 trucks running together.
Yeah, copy that. They come into a lot of different races together, and it's always tough to run against these 2 guys when they hook up. There's no question.
And running in 3rd, Scott Bailey, wishing he had some help out there.
Looks like Dustin Lee's looking low for the lead here. See if he can clear him coming out of 4, side by side for the lead.
And boy, Gilbert not laying over like you think he might since the point situation. As they come up to lap to 25, boy, he's tore up.
Mike, I've been watching Mike Kalini, car 22 there in the back, and, he was 2 laps down, worked his way up to the lucky dog after Doug Lemons went out, or Jeremy went out, and he is collectively about 0.3 of a second gaining on that lead pack every lap.
Well, there you go. It's a lap. Jeffrey Smith was the tore up truck. They all went around there.
Yeah, Mike, another thing, too, with Damon and Dustin running side by side, can these lead pack guys catch up or not? Or the 2nd pack with Scott Bailey and Everett D. Lane.
And boy, the fight is still on for the lead here. Gilbert making it work pretty good on that high line.
Yeah, Mike, there's a really good run out of turn 4 when you're on the high line. That was actually that was going to be the line of choice for a lot of people, especially coming into the long run, is just the high side out of 4 just gives you such a great run going into the dog leg.
And Dustin Lee can't get it done. He gets his tires hot, likely has to fall back in line.
I think Scott Bailey said he's going to come in for a pit. It'll be interesting to see what he takes. Obviously, he's going to top it off for fuel, but it'd be interesting if he's going to go 2 tires or all 4. Scott Bailey.
Hitting under green, Scott Bailey. We're in a window, I believe, with on lap 70.
Yeah, my guess is the guys are all going to fill it off, top it off, and they're going to probably take 4 tires so they can go to the end.
Yeah, I would think 4 tires is the way to go here as we come through a green flag cycle.
Yeah, the 2 tires is a really good strategy for a 10 to 15 lap run, but if you get caught out in a long green flag full run with just 2 tires, it really starts to show at the end of the run.
13 cars on the lead lap here. Dustin Lee did get around Damon Gilbert there. Got some other trucks. Chatter on the radio, the pitting is going to happen.
Boy, what I'm seeing here too, though, Mike and Mitchell, is that a lot of these guys are coming in by themselves, which I'm really that's got me curious why they're doing that. They're not working together with somebody.
Well, JP, a developing story I'm starting to see. 3 of the Fast Lane Racing drivers, which is Jacob Nye, Jeffrey Smith, and Scott Bailey, have already pitted. The question is, will Everett D. Lane follow the teammates?
Everett currently running in 4th, 1.6 seconds back. And he's probably trying to match what the leaders do, but lots of All-Pro Racing folks up front. Dustin Lee, our leader, Damon Gilbert 2nd, Matt Clifton 3rd, Everett D. Lane 4th.
Matt had a really good comeback here. He had a pretty bad wreck at the start of this race. Used that reset, and he's really using it to his advantage as we see him in 3rd place right now.
But the front pair gapping on him. Yeah, it looks like he's losing about a 10th a lap right now. So yeah, everyone's spreading out here. We're on lap 74 of 100. Thanks for joining us at All Pro Racing. Make sure to like us over on Facebook, where all the action happens. We got over 100 likes on our Facebook page this last week, so make sure to join the fun. We talk racing, league events, official events, all iRacing and real racing topics.
Mike, something to watch here coming into the closing laps. With there only being 11 lead lap trucks coming to a lap 76 here, there's a good chance that the rest of this can go green. And you have to wonder if Dustin Lee and Damon have enough fuel to make it all the way.
Well, I tell you who I like right now was Scott Bailey in the 08. He did short pit there. It's currently the lucky dog in 1 lap down.
And
but
there's
all
your
these
answer.
guys in front of him still have to pit.
Yeah, there's your answer. Dustin looks like he's coming in right now.
With
our
teammate
leader's
68. Damon Gilbert right behind him.
And Gilbert gets in hot.
Green flag pit
leaves
stops are coming
Everett
right
Lane
now.
out as our leader. That'll bring Bobby Stewart up to 2nd, Jonas Hankins in 3rd, and Mike Kalini in 4th.
Dustin Lee hit the inside pit road wall coming into his pit stall. Hopefully he has a reset.
He doesn't. He pulls away with damage on the left side of the truck.
That's something to watch there, Mike. That could really be costly for him coming in these last laps. You really hit the inside pit road wall hard there.
Doesn't look too bad. And JP, these leaders stay out another lap.
Yeah, they sure do. You're looking at Everett and Bobby and Mike Kaleni, and Mike just went around Jonas to move up to 3. So you've got to figure they're in about a 10-lap window right now. And my guess is that these leaders are only going to take outside tires and top it off with maybe 5 or 6 gallons.
I would think they're waiting for that caution. They can come in and get 4 tires. Everyone else will almost have to pit because of the tires.
Yeah, copy that.
So Everett D-Lane. Fast lane racing out there, brings it around pit road again. He stays out. Now the other question is, what kind of lap times is he doing compared to our guys that have those new tires?
Well, I'm looking at Bobby Stewart at basically a 31 on his last lap.
And Dustin Lee, the front runner coming out of the pits, is in a he has got about 2 or 3 tenths on him here with the new tires. So every lap that Everett stays out, Dustin is catching him.
4th place, Jonas Hankins brings it down to pit road in this nail truck.
It's been a quiet day for Jonas, but it seems like he's starting to make his way up as the field has thinned out. And Mike Kaleni's in the wall coming out of 2 in front of Dustin Lee.
And we stay green, but he spins it still going into 3. He's down low. Caution is out for Mike Kaleni. And boy, right in the middle of green flag stops, boys.
Oh, Mike, this is going to really shake it up. Dustin Lee and Damon Gilbert are a lap down. They will have to take the wave around, which means Everett D-Lane, Bobby Stewart, and Mike will probably be the top 3 coming to the restart here.
Looks like Dustin Lee just barely gets by there without any damage as the 22 just loses it. Mike was having such a good run. So tough break for Mike Kaleni from pad.org.
Yeah, it just looks like he just it could have been a little glitch in his wheel. You never know. He was all by himself, alone, nobody around him. And
back to pit road. Everett Lane is on pit road, our leader. The 11 stays out. He's going to be a wave around. Dustin Lee, Damon Gilbert stay out. But like you said, them, as long as Jonas Hankins, are all looking for that wave around. And I think Everett Lane is in a good spot right now down here with 4 tires, guys.
Yeah, Everett's had a heck of a truck. He's been really quiet. He played the, as we used to call it, the Rod Ronimus Sr. Trick, and has really held back in the back of the field. And now it's really looked like it's going to pay off for him.
Yeah, Bobby Stewart's on the same strategy. He also has 4 and is the second car up pit road.
Yeah, Bobby finished 6th at Charlotte, so we know he's got a great setup under him. But can Dustin Lee and Damon Gilbert get back on the lead lap and be back in contention for this race, coming down to about 35 to go?
And it looks like up front, our leader is going to be Mr. Damon Gilbert. We have a lap car in front of him that will get waved around, the 11. But Mr. Damon Gilbert in the Cart City Chevy Silverado will be our leader.
Boy, Mike, there I'm listening to Mike Kaleni and Dustin talking, Damon Gilbert talking. And Mike says, I was just trying to adjust my tire pressure a little bit for my pit stop and put some wedge in it, and, just went into the wall. So that's a tough one.
Yep.
As Spears Marine, the water sports family is our main focus. We really cater our dealership to look after the needs of the families that enjoy being out on the water, from wakeboarding to skiing to tubing. After you visit Skiers Marine, I think you'll see that our dealership is built on customer satisfaction. The customer is the very most important part of our dealership. And we realize without the customer coming to purchase their water sports equipment from us, from boats to gear, we wouldn't be here. So all our employees know that keeping the customer happy is the very most important thing we do.
We try to do things a little bit different than other businesses. A strong emphasis that we have is on customer service. Follow up with the customers. 2/3 of our customer base is either referrals or direct repeats from those existing customers. This is actually a fun business. I sold insurance for over 10 years, and it was something everybody really needed and nobody really wanted. So it's fun to actually sell a product that people don't necessarily need, but they want. It's a good time, and it's all about family.
Once we walked through these doors, I felt like we were in a family atmosphere. It also helps that our neighbors bought their boat here, and we watched over the past few years their process of bringing in their boat for services, how happy they were.
We were looking for the exceptional value, we were looking for the cool factor, and just, something that we could all get together and have a good time.
Over the last 15 plus years, we've become Alabama's water sports authority. We're the dealership people know they can come to when they're looking for ski and wakeboard boats, whether it be Malibu, Moomba, Premier, Axis. The top of the line boats, we have them, plus we have the pro shop to go along with it. We sell Conley, we sell Liquid Force. All of our employees not only know how to work on boats and sell boats, they also enjoy the boating lifestyle. They're out on the weekends wakeboarding, skiing with their families. So they know what it takes to have fun on the water, and they know how to keep your boat on the water.
Please remember that Skiers Marine has 2 locations to serve boats. One located just outside Birmingham on Highway 280 in Westover, the other just outside Athens, Alabama on Highway 72.
And Everett Lane showing the way here as we're back green. Let's reset our field here. We're on lap 87.
21's in the wall coming into 3.
Yeah, I saw somebody flash up there. That's Jason Sizelove. We stay green.
And he's pulled it down into pit road.
Everett Lane is our leader. Bobby Stewart second. Dustin Lee third. William Toney fourth. Jonas Hankins fifth. And Dustin looking here for second. $13 to go here. It's money time. It's time to go.
And Dustin Lee is doing it. Oh, the door banging going into 1. Him and Bobby Stewart. Looks like he's going to clear him going into 1. Let's see if he can get Everett D. Lane coming out of turn 2.
Track position's everything here, and right now Everett Lane's got it.
Boy, Mike, I tell you what, the way this is starting to shape up, we're looking like we're going to have a heck of a finish coming to 10 to go here almost.
Yep, 10 to go. Dustin's car looking really good along the bottom. JP, you got a time, how many laps are left and how much you can save those tires, or should I say use them up?
Well, I'm thinking with 9 to go, guys, these guys are going to be probably door banging it here in about 4 more laps. This is getting pretty exciting. I think tires are good. Everybody's good on fuel. I don't see tires being a major issue.
And what will Dustin Lee do here, knowing his 2 rivals in the championship are out of this race? Is he going to go for the win, or is he just riding for points?
Oh no, Dustin's going for the win. Here he comes coming in a turn 4. Going to look on the outside, see if he can do anything with it. He's just waiting for his time. He's got plenty of time to do it. I think he's got the truck to beat him, and I think he's going to end up winning this race.
We'll see as he's on the outside now of Everett Lane. And we've seen that outside work. Damon Gilbert was making some hay up there before. As they're side by side.
Yeah, Bobby and Damon going side by side, and Bobby slipping underneath him in 3. This is good. I tell you what, Bobby and Damon could probably get a run here though on these two.
And there goes Everett D. Lane.
And he's mowing the grass, and he comes back up.
Can he save it?
He saves it, but he's losing all his track position.
What a save by Everett D. Lane. One of the best saves I've ever seen on iRacing.
Yeah, that was fabulous.
You get it on the grass, it's like ice.
You only see those kind of saves at All Pro Racing.
Yeah, that would have been a caution anywhere else, huh?
Oh yeah, that's an All Pro Racer driver for you. There's not a lot of people that could save it like that.
As Dustin Lee's loving it, he's out front. I know he's cheering. 0.65 second lead.
Yeah, Mikey, look. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I think he's got newer tires than Stewart.
I think he does, and with the way his truck's been working, this could be how it finishes. But I think Scott Bailey in 3rd place might have something else to say about that as well.
Scott's been in the top 5 most of the night here.
I'd also like to give a shout out to All Pro Racer Donald King. He's really had a heck of a race tonight in the 4th place.
No, I think actually Don King's a couple laps down, but he is up there mixing it up with the lead pack.
Yeah, he's looking really strong. If he was on the lead lap, he looks like he could actually be contending for this win.
Yeah, if he didn't have some bad luck, I'm sure he would be. As the gap continues to grow for the lead between 1st and 2nd, 0.97 seconds now. And Dustin Lee's got to love this, looking in his mirror and seeing these guys side by side.
As Damon Gilbert clears Scott Bailey coming out of 2. Looks like Scott Bailey's going to look low for the crossover move going into turn 3.
And boy, they're running out of laps here. We're on lap 97 of 100.
And Mike, these guys are really showing it back here in the top 4 here. Scott Bailey and Damon Gilbert are side by side for the 3rd position, going back into turn 1.
And the race is for 2nd. I mean, Dustin Lee, unless he screws up something horrible, he's going to take this. He's got a huge lead, 1.2 seconds. 2 seconds. And it looks like Bobby Stewart, all he can do is hold off Damon Gilbert. As Gilbert goes high.
Will Damon Gilbert give him the bump and run going into turn 1?
I think Damon just used up his tires probably. But nothing's going to stop Dustin Lee up front. The Olive Hills welding truck.
Yeah, we're going to have quite a battle here for 2nd place in this. We're going to concede it to Dustin unless he completely does something bonehead, which I doubt he's going to do.
And he got damage on that truck.
Looks like Damon's got Bobby in the tri-oval.
Let's see if Scott Bailey's going to follow. They're side by side going into 1.
Yeah, and fighting up there. Oh, that looks like Andrew Williams loose and getting on the apron. White flag here.
I think the race is over now. Yep, Dustin Lee is our winner.
So, boy, he gets it done with damage done. got some left rear damage on that Olive Hill welding truck, as well as some scrapage along the right side, but Dustin Lee gaps him at the end and shows him how to do it.
Boy, what a fabulous last 15 laps for Dustin. He pretty much just ran away from that, guys.
All right, let's do our podium interviews. I'll take first, JP second, and Mitchell, you take third place. Let's see if we can get an interview with our winner. Dustin Lee, Mike Ellis in the booth. Congratulations. You won it, boy, by strength there.
Yeah, that was a tough fight there between me and Everett and Damon too as well. Definitely had to run for that one.
Well, and we were watching the gap there as they were fighting it out for second, and it was all about track position, and boy, you had it.
Yeah, once I got out front, I just kind of wanted to just pace myself and everything else once I got a little bit of a lead there, because I obviously didn't want to hit the wall or anything like that and lose the race. But yeah, couldn't slow up very much. Those guys are really fast behind us.
So were you thinking of the big picture as you knew Mitchell Reeves and Lemons were both out of the race, leaving you with the points lead basically?
I know they went out, but I really didn't know where I really stood in points. I really hadn't paid attention to it. I just, I knew I was fast. I knew I could. I had a truck that I could win with. So, I was just doing everything I could just to try to get the trophy here.
Well, congratulations. You got it done. You take the points lead. You have any sponsors you want to thank there?
All Pro Racing here for putting this on, and Michelangelo's Painting, Olive Hill Welding, my teammate Damon. We run together each and every week and work on sets together. And sometimes we hit them, sometimes we don't, but most of the time it ends up turning out pretty good. So just thanks to him for that.
All right, well, nice run. We'll see you next week. JP, you got second place, Damon Gilbert.
Hey, Damon Gilbert, JP3 up in the box. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good race there, man. I tell you, Dustin had an awful lot. That last 10 laps, he kind of pulled away from you, but good P2 finish, and you and Bobby and Matt were racing it out for second, third, and fourth. How you feeling about your second place finish?
Yeah, I had to work hard for it there. When I got on pit road, I got caught a lap down with that one caution, and I was really not hoping for that caution. And so on the restart, I started like 10th, it seemed, and I had to work my way all the way through the pack, and I just wanted to get at least the top two finish there.
Well, fantastic. We got Mitchell up here in the booth as well, and with Mitchell and a couple of the other guys going out who are up close in the point standing, that's going to move you up a little bit.
Yeah, I wasn't that far in the standings. I think I was like 9th or something, even lower, and hopefully that will get me back up there a little bit.
I'll copy that. Anybody you want to say kudos to and thanks to tonight?
Yeah, I'll thank Dustin. We always build setups. I think you guys heard him saying that a minute ago. And like my dad for buying me all the stuff to do this. It's expensive, kind of. And yeah.
All right, copy that. Well, congratulations on a P2 and a good race there, Damon.
Yeah, thank you.
And Mike, I think we got Bobby Stewart standing by as well.
Yeah, Mitchell, you want to try to find Bobby Stewart, who finished third?
Yeah, see if we can get a word with him.
Man, found myself in a position there at the end to be able to challenge those guys, and to be able to challenge those guys. And hey, I had about 4 laps before it started smoking the right front on it, so I got after it as quick as I could. But for Pat and CNC PE Engineering and SVR, glad to bring home a 3rd place finish.
Yeah, 10-4 to that, Bobby. It also looked like you really played the strategy the pit strategy very well, and it looked like that's what got you up there. But great finish taking home third, and I'm sure we will see you in this point hunt probably next race. It looks like you will be probably in the top 8 from what I'm looking at here, I think. Good race and good finish. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Just all the guys from SVR and the people from PAD and Mike Collini, Curlin Clark, everybody associated with that. So thank you.
All right, well, there you have it. Our podium finishers: Lee, Gilbert, Stewart, Matt Clifton bringing it home 4th, William Tony 5th, Jonas Hankins 6th, 7th, Everett Lane, Jacob Nye 8th, and Nick Reynolds, last car on the lead lap, and 9th. Thank you, James Peterson, Mitchell Reeves, Michael D'Amico, all the All-Pro team members. We're All Pro Racing. Make sure to join us next week. We'll see you then. Thanks.